Good evening, everyone. This video is about VHF radio, a very high frequency radio. What is VHF radio? VHF is one of the primary forms of communication used by ships at sea. It is used for various purposes, including navigation, fishing, security surveillance, and vessel communication. It is communicating with other ships in the same vicinity, since it has a limited range up to about 10 miles and requires line of sight communication. Thanks to modern technology, most commercial vessels now have sophisticated systems that allow them to use VHF as an audio-only and data transmission system. VHF radio system use extremely high frequencies to transmit signals from one point to another. These frequencies are measured in megahertz, which range from 30 MHz to 300 MHz. The higher the frequency of the signal transmitted, the longer it can travel without being affected by interference or other factors that can degrade its quality. VHF radios can communicate effectively over long distance with little disruption or distortion. VHF, or very high frequency, technically speaking, VHF is an important part of the electromagnetic spectrum. In order to define as being a very high frequency, a radio wave needs to have wavelength between 1 and 10 miles as well as frequency of 30 to 300 MHz. This is a longer range radio. One of the main purposes of VHF radio on board VHF radio is to communicate ship to ship so that no collision will happen, and ship to shore to communicate because it is far to walk when it's far. This is the different channel can use of VHF radio. Channel 16 for hailing, safety and emergency use only. Channel 9 pleasure boat hailing channel. Channel 68, 69, 71, 72 and 78A recreational working channel. Channels 1, 7A, 8, 10, 11, 18A, 19A, 63, 77, 79A, 80A, and 88A. Commercial channels, pleasure boaters are supposed to stay off them. Channel 13 for requesting bridge openings, although in some areas it's channel 67. Channels 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 84, 85, 86, and 87 used by marine operators. Channel 22 Coast Guard working channel, the one where safety broadcasters are made after they alert you in channel 16 and ask you to switch over. Channel 6 for intership safety communication. Channels 1, 5, 12, 14, 20, 63, 65A, 66A, 73, 74, and 77 for port operations. Many of these are used by recreational boats in areas where no port operations exist. Channel 70 a dedicated digital selective calling DSC channel. DSC is an automated distress system that allows us to make phone calls through our VHF. Difference between VHF and UHF radio. The primary distinction between these different spectrums is the frequency range spectrum. VHF frequencies operate between 30 MHz and 300 MHz, and UHF frequencies are between 200 MHz and 3 Hz. In the UHF band, radio waves travel almost exclusively by line of sight propagation and some ground propagation. This means UHF two-way radio operates based on every short distance. When two operators are close in proximity to one another, such as in school, warehouse, and retail stores. Therefore, VHF radio is important because it lessens the hassle of seafarers when it comes to communicating like on board ships. Since the ship is big and it is hard to communicate, you can use the VHF to communicate with other people on board easily. It can also help you communicate with other people on the other ship to avoid collision. It plays more crucial in terms of emergency on board, like there is a possible collision or other emergency on board. Thank you and God bless everyone.